I did my first little resin top, and I want to show y'all how I did it. I'm very happy with my little outcomes too. Let's go. I put me on some gloves because it's really hard to get resin off of your skin. It could damage your skin, so I wanted to be protective. I also got a gas mask so I don't breathe in any of the fumes, but I don't need that right now. I'm just opening everything up. But it's hard to get resin off of anything, so I had them cover my table in like a plastic covering so the table doesn't get messed up. But this is the fabric that we decided to go with. It's just a little stretchy gold fabric. This fabric is really hard to work with, in my opinion, but for this project, I feel like it was perfect to use. I cut me off a little section of it. I don't really need that much. I really ended up using half of the section that I cut off, and the rest of this fabric went towards like the rest of the set, like the skirt and the train and everything. Still not done with being protective. I had to protect my dress form so I could drape the resin onto the dress form to get the shape that I wanted. You do not want resin to get inside of your dress form. One, because it's too expensive. That's not even the point though. After resin get in there, you're really not gonna be able to use it no more. So I would like to still use mine, so I just, protected it. I covered it up in some more plastic, and here I am just playing around with it, trying to see how I want it, draping it, see how it drapes before I put the resin on there. Just playing around right now. You see, I cut off some of the fabric too. Starting with my resin, I did equal parts of the two little liquids. I really don't know what they called, but make sure the parts are equal, because if they're not, it's not gonna dry the way you want it to. It's gonna be kind of flimsy, so make sure your parts are equal, and I will link the resin that I used down in the description box. I got mine off of Amazon. After I mixed together both of my little resin liquids, I tried to pour it on the fabric, but it's like the fabric wasn't really soaking it up how it was supposed to. So after a little while of trying to do that, I kind of quit because that just was not going to work out. So what I decided to do was pour it in that little container on the side and just drench the fabric in and like stick the fabric in there and make sure everything was coated, because pouring it on there did not really work out with this specific fabric. I was doing everything I could to try to get every single spot covered. I was massaging it in there after that and everything. So after that, I was able to drape it better. It was very heavy, but that didn't stop. That didn't really get too much in the way, but it did help it to drape better after I coated the whole thing in the resin. After I kind of got certain spots where I wanted it to be, I have some pins that I stuck in there so it would stay in place while it dried for a little while, so nothing moved or fell down, because I did say that it was heavy. So I put pins in there. Oh, yo. Let's send one up in the sky for my scissors, because after this, I probably ain't gonna be able to use them anymore. And once I got to the bottom half, I realized that I needed to cut off some more fabric. I really don't recommend that you use your good scissors for this, especially being that the fabric was already drenched in resin. Don't cut resin with these scissors. Don't cut resin with your scissors. But just learn from me. Don't do it. Don't do it. It was easier to drape though once I cut off all that extra fabric. See, I changed from my blue gloves into my black gloves. I promise y'all, I ran through about 10 pairs of gloves doing this project. About 10 pairs of gloves. I'm not even exaggerating. So make sure you have a whole box of gloves because you will need a good bit of gloves. But I went ahead, put some more pins in there, draped it some more, gave it a little more depth. And here I am yet again, cutting off some more fabric because it was giving me a hard time. It was just too much. I probably used way less than half of what I originally cut off, but I didn't know it was going to be like that. I didn't know what to expect, really. But here it is with all the pins in there. I'm just going to let it dry for a couple of hours, and then I'm going to end up taking the pins out. This is just while it dries and hardens a little bit. So before I went to sleep, I went ahead and removed those pins. I removed a whole lot of the pins because I did not want those pins to harden and dry in there, because that just would not, that ain't gonna work. Once all the pins was out, I made sure to lift it up off of my dress form so it didn't stick to the plastic, because I heard a lot of people say they couldn't get the plastic out once they let it dry all the way like that, and I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I lifted it up and got it unstuck from the plastic, and then I just set it down gently back on there so it could dry all the way without getting plastic all stuck up in there. This is how it was looking after I took the pins out and lifted it up, and here is how it was looking after it hardened and I came back the next morning to check on it. It was not stuck, and this is how the inside looked, or the back look, in case you was curious about that. But I cleaned up all my stuff after this. I took all of those pins. Those pins were not good anymore, in case you was wondering. I threw all of them away because they had resin all over them and it was a mess. They wasn't even sharp no more. So I went ahead and threw that away, and I threw away all of the plastic that I used. All that's missing right now is straps, and in order to put the straps in, I had to put some holes inside of the chest plate, or whatever you want to call it. So I marked that with a Sharpie, and then I have my wood burner that I use to actually put the holes in there. So here I am showing you my little marking that I made. I feel like my placement could have been way better than that, but I did not think about that when I was actually draping the thing. So yeah, I use my wood burner to burn a hole. You should probably not do this in the house. Do that outside and wear a mask, because those fumes were horrible. But this is how it came out in the end. I did a little skirt to go with it, and the straps were already made, so it's strapped up at the back with two straps that I stuck through the holes. And let me show y'all how it looked on her, because I also added a train. This was so fun and creative to put together. I love the way it came together. I love the way she put it on, and I hope you learned something in this video. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.